As an OT working in the field for over 25 years, I have gotten to be pretty comfortable with managing behaviors and setting boundaries and helping parents to identify certain things that they're saying that are kind of that can trigger some behavioral responses. And so, learning about how setting boundaries, giving choices can a lot of times help with decreasing some of those behavioral reactions, even just establishing routines and transitions, singing songs to kind of help with transitions, all that stuff. It comes very easily to me just because I've been doing it for so long. However, I started to notice, though, with some kids that they were just getting triggered so easy. And that once they got triggered, it was really hard to bring them back down. And I started even just noticing that with my own children and working really hard to be able to get them back to a place where they were regulated. And I struggled as a parent who's also a therapist, that why aren't my techniques working that I do on a regular basis? Why are they working for me? And why is it that something that is so little is causing such a visceral, behavioral, emotional response? I mean, we were having extreme meltdowns over something that really should not have happened. And, when you go to, counseling and therapists, everyone, they always start you at the very beginning. Set some boundaries, set some limits, be consistent. And I'm thinking, I do this for a living. I don't really need help with that. I got to figure out what is causing A, B, C, D. And no one was really able to give me those answers. And so I kind of went down the rabbit hole of just trying to figure out what it is that I needed to do and what was the cause. And that's where I started looking into just the impact of chronic illness and how medical trauma, it's a real thing, and emotional trauma. I never really understood that, and how trauma can continue to evoke these extreme emotional responses, and that how certain memories, certain words, certain tones in our emotions can be so easily misread by kids that they will trigger a response, and that their reality might not have been what has really happened, but it is the picture of what goes on in their head over and over and over again. So that's what becomes real. And so these emotional responses, because the body doesn't know what's real and what's not. The body just senses that they're feeling these same feelings. And so it's basically reliving the trauma over and over and over again. And, as a parent, I was just in a place of desperation. I don't know how to help my kids. And no other professional was really able to help my kids either. And then I started learning, there's lots of parents that are out there that need help with their kids in this area as well. And then I had one of my kids' doctors, and actually a couple of them, start talking to me about polyvagal theory, or limbic system rewiring, and the vagus nerve, and that I needed to really work on trying to do some of that for resetting the nervous system. And as a parent who was overwhelmed, I'm like, yeah, okay, we can't do that right now. But after the third doctor, mentioned it to me, and it clicked. And so when they had said, the body's nervous system is fried, and you're going to continue to have these over and over and over again nervous system responses until you reset and rewire the brain. And I realized that I needed to do something else. And that's what I went down and started researching the relationship between the vagus nerve and emotional responses, and how they trigger all the different sensory responses, and then just how we can really retrain the brain to not have these same emotional responses. And so as I learned, then I started reaching out to some of the different families, and I saw all the pain and the suffering and everything they're experiencing. And so now I'm just on this path of just I want to reach out to families, and I want to make a difference for them. And so we are launching this course so that we can start to teach more families and therapists on just how we can really help with the emotional regulation piece when you're not responding to the behavioral piece, and when you're seeing these kids that are in complete shutdown, or when they are just becoming so totally aggressive that it's probably more going on than just a behavioral response. And that when we can really look at it on a neurological level and look at what the brain's signals are telling the body that you're in a fight, you might really start to see a difference. So anyway, we can heal. We can heal the brain. We can retrain the brain. We can rewire the brain. But we have to understand how that all fits together. So I'm here to help, and we're here to make a difference.